Welcome fellow hours to Thok the Bloodthirsty 10-man normal in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. If you're looking for the normal guide, link is in the description, just click it and it will take you there. This one is only for the boomkins. And we're gonna start off once again with the talent, like in every video. And in this fight there's a lot of choice and it all depends basically on your raid tactic or your strategy. So the first tier, if you're kiting Thok, if your raid decided that you will kite Thok from the entrance to the room to the other side of the room, back and forth, feline swiftness is much better because you're faster, which is always good. But if your raid decided to kite Thok around the room, you should pick Displacer Beast for those oh shit he's gonna eat me moments. Okay, so if you're kiting him from the entrance to the back of the room, feline swiftness. If you're kiting him around the room, Displacer Beast. Next choice is between Incarnation and Force of Nature. I would recommend Force of Nature because it's much smoother due to the deafening screech interrupting you and spell locking you. But if you're feeling awesome and you can actually stop casting or finish your cast right before he starts or right before he does his deafening screech and start casting right after it, pick Incarnation, okay? But I would recommend Force of Nature. It feels much better with it. The next choice is between Heart of the Wild and Nature's Vigil. And let me explain like this. If you have a default setup and you're okay, nothing too spectacular, pick Heart of the Wild. If you don't have enough healing and you have enough damage, still go with Heart of the Wild. But if you don't have enough damage and healing, which means you're dying and you can't sacrifice more DPS because you will wipe otherwise, pick Nature's Vigil, okay? Now let's talk about the footage in the background. I am there as a resto druid, but before I switched to resto, I did around 8 or 10 pulls as a balance druid, so that's why I feel comfortable with doing this guide. Plus, resto druids are just straight up the best healer for this fight you can have. So if you do have a resto of spec, please consider going in as a resto. You will kick so much ass, it's unbelievable, okay? So if you do have a decently geared resto of spec, you're gonna be better as a resto than as a boomkin. It hurts to say that, it really hurts, but it's the truth. Resto druids are just straight up amazing on this fight. Now let's talk about a couple of tips. Every time Thok goes into phase 2, use Stampeding Roar. It will help everyone, okay? People will be spread out in no time. It will just roar and people are gone, which means that he will probably not eat anyone straight up, which is always good. Dead people don't do any damage or healing or tanking either, even. So that's the tip number 1. Every time he goes into phase 2, use Stampeding Roar if you have it. Tip number 2. You will always Bloodlust on pull. If your raid leader says something like, oh, we need to save the Bloodlust for 20%, kick him in the face. That is really dumb thing to do because you need to do as much damage as possible while everyone's alive, everyone has cooldowns, everyone has procs, and everyone's alive, It's fairly useless to use, Bloodlust when the boss is eating your face. That's a very inefficient thing to do. So, that means your first incarnation will be in phase 1, which means you can get spell locked and you kinda need to plan your casts ahead or stop casting. That really hurts, especially if you're going with crit mastery build and only the first haste breakpoint. So what I found out, the best performance I got out of Incarnation was to, of course, use the first Incarnation in phase 1, but then use Incarnation in phase 2 where you can't be interrupted, and I just pray to freaking God that he won't fixate on me and I don't have to run away. So that's how I got the best performance out of Incarnation, to actually use it in phase 2. And tip number 3 is all about the deafening screech. So if you know the deafening screech is coming and you just entered an eclipse, don't use your dots. Use your dots when he's doing the deafening screech so you can't be interrupted. And if you get a Star Surge proc, which is the Shooting Stars proc, that's what it's called. If you get Shooting Stars and he's about to do Deafening Screech, save it and use the Star Surge when he's doing the Deafening Screech. This will help you increase your damage quite a bit. But for the love of God, if you're not comfortable with doing this, you know, saving your dots and your shooting stars for this, don't do it. Just stop casting. If you dot him up and then you're waiting like 3 seconds, or if you're waiting like 4 seconds to dot him up or fire off the shooting stars, it's useless. It's just gonna hurt you a lot. So if you're not feeling comfortable with saving your stuff and actually, you know, calculating where you should do what and when you can use your instant cast and when you can actually hard cast something, don't do this. Okay, just cast when he's about to do the deafening scream. Just stop. Okay, it's, you know, it can do a lot of stuff, it can give you a lot of damage, but if you do it incorrectly, it will hurt you a lot. So yeah, if you're feeling good, if you're feeling badass, you can do this. If not, just don't. And that's about it for this boss. One more thing. Enrage or Frenzy or whatever. This is the cool thing about this boss. I almost forgot about it. What? Well, when the Corcoran Jailer comes in, you at least have him as a focus target. And you Soothe to dispel the Frenzy effect. This will help a lot. And this is what I like about this fight, actually dispelling the Frenzy effect with Soothe. This is something I haven't done in quite a while, actually. I probably should have on some encounters, but on this fight it helps a lot because the Corcoran Jailer will be smashing your tank to the face really fucking hard. So you Soothe and dispel his Enrage effect or Frenzy, whatever it's called. And that's it for this boss. I thank you all for watching. I wish you good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.